Welcome back, Defender fans, and well, you can see this isn't a daily driver at the moment, but I popped down today to give a chap who's a Defender daily driver a hand getting his body off his chassis, and here, let's have a quick word with him.
So my name's Paul and I'm a long-standing Land Rover enthusiast. I was brought up on a farm, so I've had a Land Rovers all my life really, and this is my first Land Rover, which up until recently has been on the road, but as you'll see from some of this video that the chassis was pretty much knackered and needed a lot of work, so we decided to take the plunge and change the chassis. So as you can see from the video, what the stage was now was to lift the body away from the chassis so we could actually, remove the engine and get down to the bits and pieces of changing the chassis.
So, Paul, how did you lift the body?
So lifting the body was actually more straightforward than what we thought. So we had two engine cranes, one each side at the front, and then a sort of high reach bottle jack at the back in the middle, so a 3-point lifting. And we lifted sort of the front a bit and the back a bit, and then at each stage just chucking between the chassis and the body just for safety. And then once you get to a certain point, you have to chuck the body so we can lift the jack up to the next stage, so we've got more height to keep going. So it's very straightforward.
And as part of the rebuild, is it going to be a concourse winner, or is this just going to remain a work truck?
It's definitely a work truck. So the idea of this is getting it done as quickly and as cheaply as possible. So I'll be changing as few parts as possible, but as you'll see, that there'll be a lot of bits that do need attention. The brakes need some attention, obviously brake pipes, potentially shock absorbers. The gearbox needs to go away for overhaul. There's quite a lot of backlash on the splines for the final drive. So there's a number of jobs that while the body's off need doing. Obviously, I say I want to do it cheaply and quickly, but also want to do it safely and do a good job ultimately.
And with the new chassis and a rebuilt gearbox, you'll have a motor that's good for a long time, won't you?
Yeah, it should be good for many more years. So you never quite know with these old vehicles, but fingers crossed we'll get plenty of miles. So as you can see, there's a lot of holes and things in the chassis. So this particular spot, you can see where there's had a patch on here, but these areas were getting very hard to get to because they were towards the chassis body. So it's one of the reasons why repairing was becoming not possible really. This sort of area shows the level of rot in the chassis really. You see how these lumps of metal are peeling away. And down this area too, you can see where we've had a patch on, and this is all obviously been patched. It really, you see across the top here, areas like this were just impossible to get to without removing the body. So you can see even areas like the front axle are heavily rotted. So again, it'd be a question mark later on as to whether we change the front axle or not. And see the springs here, they're probably another item that needs changing, heavily rotted.